Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Managing Editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Joining me today is Daniel Slisko, who is basically the founder and owner of Charco Marketing, Creative Marketing Agency in Calgary. Thanks for joining us again today.
Thanks for having me, Mario.
Okay, let's start just telling me just a little bit about Charco, what it is and what you guys do.
Yeah, Cherco Creative Marketing is a full marketing agency. We primarily focus on four pillars. So, advisory, marketing, PR. That's our essentially our first pillar. The second one is a complete design studio. So we take all the great ideas that we come up with, strategies, and we help create assets. The third one would be advertising, distribution, getting the, creating those great assets and getting them out to the public and to your target audience. And the fourth is digital adoption. The world has gone digital, so we've really focused on that. So we have a really strong team of developers and IT professionals that work for us as well. So those primarily, and we like customizing an approach to every customer. We don't believe every customer has the same needs. So being in a full agency, we can pivot and adjust our approach to our customers and their needs, right?
Okay. When did the business come to be?
So I've been self-employed for 30 years now, this November. Chairco, we founded in 2019, right before the pandemic. Took a little bit of a break, a little pause during because it wasn't the greatest time to start something, and then continued again in 2022.
Okay,
So
and
about
where's the
5, 6 years old now, yeah.
Yeah. And where does the name come from and what does the name mean?
So in my previous endeavors, I my background, my formal training is in design, and we did a lot of wayfinding. So Cerco means to look for in Italian. So that's got the connection to why we named ourselves. We're here to help you find your way.
I guess when you look at the whole field you're in, let me just start about uh, asking you about the business side of things. And you know, when you first founded that, what was your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur?
I think like anyone, like any startup, it's exposure. People do business with who they know, who they like, and who they trust. So the first barricade I had to overcome was nobody knew
Yeah.
Cherokee. Nobody knew what we did. So yeah, I hustled quite a bit to really just get exposure to get out into the community. So that was the biggest hurdle, I feel. Providing, executing, and providing the services and supporting our clients didn't feel as challenging. I think just because of the years of experience I have, that part was quite easy. But just getting out there, getting known, earning people's trust was the most uh, challenging part when we first got started.
Tell me how you got started in all this, in just this kind of field. Was there some thing that sparked your interest in this?
Yeah. So I don't want to date myself, but I I my formal training was in design, graphic design in the 90s.
Yeah.
Um, so back in those days, it was, we were the internet didn't exist.
Yep.
So most of the training was for print and large format. So that's kind of where I got started. But throughout my career, I've been very serial entrepreneur. So I've tried um, quite a few things to fulfill my appetite, um, my ambitious appetite. I like so I consider myself very serial. It makes me a very strong marketer as well. I find because I can adapt to a lot of different industries because of my curiosity and my passion for
Yeah.
business. Yeah, so I've operated a few companies over my 30-year stint, and I've been involved with what I would call side hustles or side businesses.
Hmm.
Cherco was once a side business. So yeah, it just you know, you know, going through my entire career, uh, in a nutshell, I think it got to a point where I kind of, I've kind of, I, I found myself like locked down and not visible, and I wanted to make a conscious choice to be visible in the community. I was too afraid to be myself. I had too many stakeholders. I was worried about what they thought of me and things like that. So essentially, I made a conscious decision to go out there and do that. And how I did that was essentially I started writing blogs and publishing them, and then see feedback and see what my colleagues would think of what I was writing, and
Oh yeah.
so slowly, just kind of getting out there, and um, yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's kind of where how I got to this point. Really, it's just the conscious choice of being visible, and
Let's talk about that being visible. Like obviously, and you did mention, yourself as a startup, the exposure, and who the heck knows you, right? And it's like that for, I guess, any startup, right? At outside of the people that you're closely attached to, and who the heck knows you. What does a startup need to do to get themselves out there to be noticed out in a very competitive environment?
yeah, really, you got to build your network, right? You really have to get out there and let people know who you are and what you're about and what you can offer, what value you can provide them, and then be patient because not everyone's, timing's important too, right? You can't go around pitch whiplash everybody and expect to get hired. So
Yeah,
you just have to kind of organically continue doing what you do, and eventually the people that recognize the value that you can provide will most likely transact, right?
yeah. Now you mentioned networking, Daniel. I know that you're big into that. Tell me about some of the key areas and key ways that you network.
I kind of call it like friend building. At this
Yeah,
point in my career, I've climbed a lot of mountains and I've conquered some peaks. And then while I was in the valley thinking about, okay, what's my next move? What am I going to do in my life? I
yeah,
think I treat networking like making friends, like being authentically true to yourself and honest about the relationships you're building. And sometimes it doesn't work. Like, I might meet someone influential. I'm like, I just don't see chemistry there. And it just is what it is. And I just move on. I don't really try. But yeah, so networking for me is friendship building.
yeah. And what kind of places do you network?
Well, I primarily focus areas. Well, there's two passions I have. One is business. So you'll find me in business networks. If you're a business owner, generally you're a close friend. I try to look out for my friends as much when I see opportunities for them. Specific industries, and I think, oh, this might be good for Adam or Sarah. So I'll always kind of pop a little message. Hey, maybe you should look at this. Or
Yeah,
so I'm always looking out for my friends. So business owners, and then the other is community. Um, I have my heritage is Croatian, so I recently got a leap back into my Croatian roots. I'm a native Calgarian. I grew up here, so a lot of the community members I grew up with are very active, and it's nice to fulfill those friendships. My wife's Italian, so I have the luxury of, yeah, I have the luxury of having that network as well. So it's like,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
always joke around saying either you're a business owner, Croatian, or Italian. Those are the three networks that generally people know me in those three markets or three communities, right?
Yeah. Now, what interests me, and something that you've fairly recently started, is kind of like I call it a Back to the Future, right? Where you're producing and publishing printed copies of magazines, and you don't see that much anymore, right? The printed copy of a publication is gone by the wayside for the most part, but you're coming back in a big way. Tell me what you're doing there and why.
Two reasons. One, I already touched on is, it's my way of being visible, and I believe print publication is is a formal media channel. So there's a process. It's not just like writing something and posting it like social media. There's a massive editorial process. Like once it goes to print, it's done. You can't change it. So you have to take that channel and all your efforts very formal and serious, right? So going through selecting the story, finding the people, representing the people and the stories properly, because once you publish it, you can't go and delete it or change it, right? So that's what attracts me to it. So it's a very formal channel. And I think everyone that gets involved with a print magazine sees that. They see hey, this isn't just a social post that can be deleted, or, it's like, this is like, there's, you get an editorial team, copywriters, you got copy editors, you got a chief editor, then you got all the people that involved with the art side, like the photographers, art director, graphic designers. So it's a team, it's a production. It's not just someone trying to do it on the side of their desk or do it on their free time. So it is a formal channel, and I feel like especially with what we do, I have the entire team that can put it together. So we felt it was just a natural way of connecting with the community and highlighting what's actually happening in the city.
Tell me a little bit about the publications you have and perhaps the potential for other ones.
Cool, a good question. So uh, yeah, I was lucky enough to find myself in a position to represent the psychology and wellness space. Last spring, Dr. Cheryl and Boris from the Family Psychology Place, they initiated and asked me to put this psychology publication together, and it's been a hit so far. We're on to our third publication, going to our fourth issue, and we've been just attracting so many people in the wellness community, and it's interesting that publication touches everybody. Like mental health and wellness it affects everyone. And life can be a bitch, I guess.
Yeah.
Life can be hard, and we all go through it, and we all have those moments where we need help. And since I've been in the publisher of that magazine, I've come across quite a bit. It's a good reflection. It gets very, very humbling. So that was a great one. And then the brand magazine, it's a marketing and sales business operation. So I want to create a resource where I can share, and find others that want to experience share, uh, um, and then we can share that with the community. Yeah, in the future, yeah, I've got my eye on a few things. I don't really want to mention them right now, but I feel like I don't want to jinx it. So I've got a
Yeah.
few things I want to, but I'm really focusing on getting these things off the ground before I move on to anything else, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, you're just the way you talk. You're obviously very entrepreneurial in spirit. And speaking of which, Calgary's always been called that. In your 30-year career out there, would you agree that Calgary is an entrepreneurial city?
100%. The entire province is actually. Just to give you an example, I was asked to go on a speaking tour with a $1 billion organization, and they had me go through. I started in Calgary. I ended up going to Saskatchewan, Manitoba, BC, and then back to Edmonton, like through this little tour. And honestly, I could tell just by the audience that I was speaking to that I could see the difference. Like Calgarians, Albertans, they're just more willing to go for it and take the action necessary. They have that spirit and
Hmm.
that yeah, so that was a good eye opener for me. So like speaking to a crowd in Manitoba, they were very conservative and weren't very, I don't know, you don't see that excitement in them like you do with Albertans, right?
Yeah. Tell me, right now, as you talk to a lot of different businesses and entrepreneurs out there, how would you describe what the business climate is for entrepreneurship right now?
Yeah, it's in Alberta for sure. I tend to be a little short-sighted. I don't see the rest of what the rest of the country goes through, but Calgary, especially southern Alberta, it's thriving. I think we have a lot going for ourselves. Obviously, our energy sector, our construction sector is, like the amount of projects that the entire province is investing in. Tech, the centers that are being built here. We have abundance of energy, so I could see ourselves being like the Silicon Valley
Mm.
of Canada, essentially, or even North America. I think we have so much. We're a very steady climate. We don't have like earthquakes or so earthquakes or like tornadoes or anything that could.
Yeah,
We're very stable. So a lot of foreign. I think we're catching the attention of the world, and I think we have I think there's a lot. The future looks bright for me as an entrepreneur. I think COVID was kind of created a lot of uncertainty, but I think it's starting to like that blurriness is starting to fade out. I think it just I think of in the short term, I think we're going to start seeing opportunity, and everyone's going to recognize it a lot more than we kind of like pre-COVID, where you could see it coming, right?
yeah. Last question I had for you, Daniel. If you had a child or a young person come to you and they're talking about being an entrepreneur, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I won't. I would say do it. Take the action. I look back on my 30-year career, and and I really compared myself to others. And the only thing that makes me any different than anybody else, in my opinion, is I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to take action. So it's great to talk and have ideas and dreams and things in it, but that's all it is talk and dreams if you don't take action. So
Yeah,
my advice to anyone younger is you get an idea, just go for it, and you'll learn along the way. You'll make some mistakes and you'll adjust, right? So
yeah.
yeah, take action.
Okay, super. Thanks so much, Daniel, for joining us today.
Yeah, Mario, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out.
Okay, that was Daniel Slisko of Charco in Calgary. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Thanks for joining us today.